So today let's talk about white belt mentality. What does it mean and why should you adapt it? When I say white belt mentality, I'm not specifically referring to skill level at all. In fact, you can be any belt rank in jiu-jitsu and still adopt this mentality. Essentially, I want you to be open to ideas and understand that you can learn something from every single training partner regardless of their skill level. The key of having a white belt mentality is to try to get one detail from somebody. Because no matter what the skill disparity is, whether you're better than them or they're better than you can learn something from them. All it's going to take is an open mind and an open heart. I find that oftentimes people get themselves tripped up at the belt level. So if you're going with someone who's a higher belt, and I did this when I was a white belt, so this wasn't even a good white belt mentality. This was toxic white belt mentality. I would go against someone who's wearing a purple belt or a brown belt and we do positional sparring. Maybe we started in the mount position, right? I wouldn't go for a triangle because I knew they would defend it. They're a better belt than me. But what I found as I progressed in jiu-jitsu is that if you ignore the belt rank, maybe if you're in no-gi class and you just go for it to the best of your ability, jiu-jitsu works on everybody. And what I mean by this is if you put your hands and legs and arms and body in the correct position and apply tension in the correct way, the other person is either going to have to give up by submitting or face the consequences of whatever submission you're putting on them. So, a white belt mentality that's not toxic is being open to ideas. And how do we hunt for those hidden gems in people? Well, I guess you could put on a white belt, but don't do that unless you legitimately do not have a belt because it was lost. Or you're an actual white belt. I suggest wearing the belt your coach gave you. But if you go to a no-gi class, you're not going to be wearing a belt regardless. More, though, is the mentality shift that you need to take. You need to stop trying to see the flaws in other people or see how you can try to break them in jiu-jitsu, but really try to understand how they see jiu-jitsu. And when you're rolling or sparring with somebody, the goal should not be to submit them as many times as you possibly can. The goal should be to learn as much as you possibly can to acquire new skills. So one of the things that I do is I force position, whether that's offensive or defensive. Say, for example, if I'm working on defending my back, well, I would simply make it more likely that the person is going to take my back by exposing my back. And guess what? I get tapped out when that happens. But I think that's a good white belt mentality because white belts should tap out. Everybody should tap out. So a positive white belt mentality is to tap out if you're in submissions, but don't think about what the belt means. Go to no-gi classes, just pretend it doesn't exist in the gi classes, and you'll find more often than not, you'll be able to hit a move simply because you're going for it with full enthusiasm. I like to say that if you do 80% of the hard work, you're probably not going to hit the move. But that last 10 to 20%, if you do it 90%, you'll probably get it. If you do 95, that's really, really good. 100 is how you get like super great. But let's say you're hitting out constant 90, 95s, you're going to get most of the moves you hit. And I say 90, 95, I mean commitment level. So this is a made up number, of course, but if you're actually committing to the moves, ignoring the belt rank, chances are you're going to be able to learn something from everybody and you get better at jiu-jitsu faster.